Hello, all Hoosier fans, Hoosier haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast. And with me, I've got Haley back, and it's time to talk about probably the most stressful offseason of any program. I know I need to get into baseball and softball. Playoffs are around the corner for them. I'm gonna get into them soon. That could also be a next week thing. Could be a Friday, could be a Thursday episode because I'm off Thursday from work. But yeah, if I seem tired, don't worry. I'm very tired. Very. Anyways, IU basketball, eh?
IU basketball.
Everyone's favorite and least favorite team on this program in this freaking athletic department. Well, I mean, it's just both teams had probably a little disappointing seasons, I would probably say.
Right.
Um, but I think gonna be very it's gonna be very stressful because I think a lot of people didn't like the DeVries hire. Those people wanted Chris Beard and wanted no one else. And
Yeah.
yeah, let's get it started off. Hey, let's talk about the men's basketball recruitment situation.
All right. Well, it's both ideal and unideal for a new coach when every player hits the portal and decides to leave. Because one, you can kind of go in and change the culture immediately, which I think is something that could be very beneficial for how we've been playing recently. We get in some new guys, we kind of reset the atmosphere, and we can just go get it and go to work. So we really only have one person coming in that we've had committed to the program, and that is Trent Sisley. So other than that, it's kind of fresh
Who's
air.
your who's your legend, Trent
Yeah.
Sisley?
Who's your legend, Trent Sisley? Other than that, we're hoping that, Luke Goody gets his waiver, comes back. I think that there's a pretty good chance there, especially considering the transfer portal rules and how light they're being with stuff recently because of all the lawsuits, which is another topic entirely. But with DeVries, he brings in his son Tucker, who is a pretty solid shooter. Um, Redshirted last year at West Virginia over what is it, a
Shoulder injury.
shoulder injury. Yeah, I knew it was something with the arm. Couldn't place it off the top of my head. So I think he'll be pretty dependable coming in. We also have Connor Enright and Reed Bailey in an assortment that has been, I know I like calling him that. I think it's the general consensus that we're calling this the exciting whites lineup. um,
Exciting whites. The exciting
uh,
if I mean we could play an entire starting lineup if Goody gets his waiver. That is just Connor Enright, Trent Sisley, Tucker DeVries, Luke Goody, and Reed Bailey. Exciting whites. The exciting whites lineup.
yeah, for
But
sure.
I'm gonna do a little quick research, and you keep talking about when
Yeah,
Xavier Johnson got his
yeah.
waiver.
So, other than the people who we already have officially committed and the players that we're bringing back are like potentially Luke Goody and obviously Trent Sisley is still committed. People that we're looking at that we have officially, talked to would be Elijah Freeman from Lincoln Memorial. He's a freshman, so he would be a pretty good pickup. We could keep him for a while. He could grow. He shot 46.3 from 3-point percent, which is really solid. You can never go wrong with a good amount of shooting. And especially since he's making it in close to every other time he puts up the ball. You have Lamar Wilkinson. He's from Sam Houston State. He's a senior, but we did find out that he's visiting Kentucky today, and it's looking very close to them pulling him away from us, even though I was pretty convinced that he might consider us heavily. So that's a
It's
little bit
just
disappointing, but
with Wilkerson, I have severe doubts he gets here. But I think with how much money Kentucky has spent in the transfer portal, we could probably outbid Kentucky. But he was seen at the Kentucky Derby in the winter circle, so it may be honestly Jover with him. Uh,
Yeah,
but
unfortunately, you go to
but it,
the Derby, you don't come back.
yeah, but it seems like with Wilkerson, it seemed like he's trying to go through all his visits and then decide. So we'll see if he leaves Kentucky without a commitment. If he leaves Kentucky without a commitment, then he's going through every single visit and seeing which one likes him the best.
Yeah, which honestly, I think if I was a recruit, that's kind of what I would do. See
Yeah.
all your options, see what everybody thinks of you, and then kind of place it down. Like, this is where I want to go. The first center out of the two that I have listed is, I think his name is pronounced Ante Brzovic from Charleston. He's from Croatia, averaged 18.4 points, 8 rebounds. Pretty solid guy. I don't have too much to say on him if you have anything to add, Alex.
I really don't have much. You can't go wrong with a European big man, especially in
Yeah.
college. It's a staple. Uh, just the European big men are staples. It's just I don't have much on him. I probably I it's one of it like with getting Reed Bailey, I have concerns that we're gonna go after really hard on Berzovic and Lampkin, the other center. Because both because I think Reed Bailey's 6'11 and both of these guys are around that 6'11, 7 foot range. But who genuinely knows? He could just pull a fast one at everybody, and it's just Mike Woodson part two, and it's two actual big men next to each other, and not someone that's 6'9 and 7 foot.
Hey, you know what? If we can get an entire lineup of 7 footers, I think we could just walk the ball close and throw it in, and
I
nobody would
mean,
be able to fight us on it.
if you really think about it, because we've had issues with rebounding, and everyone's been yelling at us to be a good rebounding team. If every single player is 7 feet or higher, then we don't have a rebounding problem. That's why I want Oliver Rue from or Olivier Rue from Florida,
Florida, yeah.
the
I mean,
seven
hey,
nine
if he's
big
big
man.
enough,
He's 7'9".
yeah, you wouldn't even have to try. You just stick up your hand and you've got the
Just
ball.
boom, boom. Doesn't even have to jump. He's get in the paint, just get the ball, dunk the ball. 2 points every time.
Yeah,
You want a
beautiful.
12 seconds or less offense? That's how you get it.
Yeah.
Watch, we're joking now, but he's gonna like do like a full on break someone's ankle and like do a tomahawk slam from the free throw line in like 2 years, and the entire internet's gonna lose its mind.
I wouldn't be surprised. You can't count anything out in college basketball. Uh, Other people that we reached out to, we have a pair of shooting guards. We have Johandri Ortiz from Miles College and Tayshawn Comer from Evansville, which I think both of those look like solid guys. I think Ortiz is a freshman from Florida and Comer is a junior and he's from Indianapolis. So I like odds of at least him taking genuine interest in us and we could have a good back and forth about it, being an Indiana kid.
Yeah, and I mean, like being like the Evansville, like that was I grew up an Evansville fan. Watched the likes of DJ Ballantyne and Egidius Moscavagis, and my first Nepo player Blake Simmons. Um, but you can never go wrong with a lot of Evansville players. Comer averaged 13, 4, and 4. So he could play a combo guard type of role. Um, but he was leading scorer, 16 points there. For Evansville, I believe. In his previous 2 seasons at Eastern Kentucky, wasn't that much, but really stepped up in Evansville. And you know. it's probably pretty good to get away from Ace Purple, which is basically just Purdue Pete's riverboat gambling cousin.
Right.
I mean,
I mean,
he's not
arguably better looking.
much better looking. The mustache really helps,
Oh
you know.
yeah.
But it just is what it is there.
Yeah, for sure. Last on our list for people that we have already reached out to, Tate Connerway from Troy, Sunbelt Player of the Year. So, I mean, lighten it up over in that conference. And supposedly has a visit today. So he could be on campus as we speak, pretty much.
I don't know. You maybe see Kirk, see him at Uptown.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're not going to get every single guy that in the portal. And
Oh,
there's
for
going to be
sure.
new guys that are going in the portal whenever this current wave gets committed. It's the nature of the beast.
Right.
Um, there's probably going to be players in the next couple weeks that transfer that we didn't think are going to be available that may be mainstays on this team. Who knows? You got to trust the process and not overreact.
Yeah.
And I was looking up for Goody's situation. Xavier Johnson got his eligibility waiver on April 26th.
So, about 13 days.
Expect it late April, early May. Because the
Yeah.
situation's a little bit more unique, I am expecting early May for a decision.
Hey, I'll take it. Hopefully the answer is that we can get him for another year because I love the way he played on our team and I would be happy to have him as a leadership presence in the locker room.
Yeah. Like you're gonna need someone. At least like if we can get Goody, he'd be a massive locker room guy to really connect the team to the city and and the campus.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And some transfers to look out for. I put his name in there because my Evansville bias, but Isaiah Swope from St. Louis. He played at Southern Indiana and at Indiana State. I mainly put him on there because Hoosier Commission got a gif of Isaiah Swope, and I got really excited. Um, but I think he would be a backup player more than likely in Indiana. But you never know with the Indiana State guys from that run.
Oh, I know. I mean, and it's always good to have valuable bench guys off the bench too. I mean, I know this is women's basketball that I'm about to mention, but I think it still holds true. You have a team like South Carolina, most of their main scorers came off the bench last season for their women's team. It's not always a bad thing to not start. It's what you do with the minutes
Yeah,
you do get.
yeah,
So
and like
I
that's
think
just
off the
been
bench could be great.
South Carolina's MO like for the past few years. Because when I remember when we played them, they just never
Mhm.
skipped a beat.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Like it didn't matter if Cardoso was in or out or Teone Pau was in or out. They've got somebody that's gonna score on you.
Yeah, for sure.
I also think Connor Hickman's an interesting name to talk about here. He is a
Yeah, hometown
townie.
kid.
Played at Cincinnati, same place where one of our new assistants, I believe, want to make sure I get the name right. Drew Adams was recently at. I don't know how big in the recruitment sphere he was for Hickman, but Towney, with a connection to a current assistant coach and with a do not contact tag, I like the odds.
I do too. I mean, there are always like two reasons that there's a do not contact. I'm hoping it's the side of he already knows where he's going, and hopefully that's us. I always like a townie, but it could just mean he's going through his agent,
Yeah,
and that could also lead to us, but I'll keep my fingers crossed.
yeah, that'd be big. Um, with the high school recruits. You got Braden Hawthorne, who I mentioned in with I believe it was Greg. Yeah, yeah, I was mentioned with Greg. Was he has reopened his recruitment. DeVries recruited him to West Virginia. Don't know what's really going on there. There's Nick Lewis, 6'1" point guard from Washington, D.C., number 8 point guard and number 3 in D.C. area. Decommitted from Xavier after Sean Miller left for Texas. He could go with Xavier, go to go leave, stay with Sean Miller, but a big thing is that we got assistant Kenny Johnson back to Indiana, and Kenny is big in that Maryland, DC, the DMV area. So that could also be a possibility. And then there's also obviously Harden Zerno. I don't know if he's gotten a commitment yet. I
Yeah, I
haven't
was about to say I
seen.
haven't seen too much since he reopened his commitment. I'm kind of hoping that we can pull him back, always good to have a European big man, as you said earlier. And I think he still likes the program. I think he's
He's
just kind of trying to feel out the new coaching staff and such.
yeah. So we'll see. Like I know there's other programs reaching out to him, and he'll probably go through everything. But he is a ridiculous 3-point shooter and would be massive in this group.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You want to go into the IU players in the portal?
Yeah, I mean, great place to start. Um, Malik Renew moves back towards his hometown, transfers to Miami. I think that that'll be a solid fit for him. I think it's a pretty lateral move from where we were last year to where Miami has been. But he's closer to home. He'll have his good old hometown status. I think he'll be a hit with the fans. Um, you know, New look for the new town. I was telling Alex right before we started recording that
I didn't even real.
he shaved his head, and you didn't even realize.
I thought it was just his
I
hair was pulled back into a ponytail because like he's done that a couple times. But like
yeah,
that's just that's completely different.
yeah, I don't think it looks bad necessarily. It's just something definitely different, and I mean, especially when you're changing programs, it's good to have a nice fresh start, and sometimes that means cutting your hair. We've all heard it. I need to change the way that things are going on. Let me change my appearance a little bit to match the changes in my life. Um, Gabe Cupps goes across the river to Ohio State. That's gonna be a fun one. Moose also closer to home. I'm not quite sure the fit there. I haven't looked too far into that one myself. I do think it's interesting. I think he could be good, but I think he'll most likely end up off the bench if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
it's gonna be a very lateral move.
Yeah. Ja'Kai moves to Georgia State. I'm not too familiar with Georgia State's program, but I think that'll be good for Ja'Kai. He wasn't getting much minutes with us. I think that there is more of a chance that he can work himself into either some consistent minutes or I think if he lights up, I think he could make clinch like 6 man, maybe the starting lineup,
Yeah,
at
I
Georgia
think
State.
yeah, he just got injured too much. Still has that athleticism. I think he
Yeah,
can be. I think he will start at Georgia State personally, and he's gonna
yeah, that
go
is the
crazy.
yeah, it's just gonna be watching out that injury risk, which happens with a ton of players. But if he can get over that and figure out how to manage it, I think he can light it up. In what is it? Georgia State's the Sun Belt, or
Yeah, I believe it is the Sun Belt.
yeah. Right. Miles Rice to Maryland. I think this one is actually quite good. It's gonna be weird seeing him in a different uniform. Um, Still sticks to his theme of reddish. He had the
Yeah,
Washington State
Washington
red, the
State.
Indiana red, Maryland red. He's adding some new colors into his scheme though, with the yellow and black. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays there.
Another boo. Sorry. It's just interconference is always a boo.
Oh yeah, interconferences. It's like you're excited to see him go to somewhere where hopefully they can do well, but you wish they could do well without playing well against you.
Yeah, it's just he'll probably get a start because I think with Rodney Rice transferring and a lot of those Maryland guys moving, go transferring, he has a chance to start at Maryland. So that's why. And I don't know if he had a chance to start at Indiana with the new lineup. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. It would
I would have
definitely
liked
be a
him.
he'd have to fight for it.
Yeah, I would have liked him to start, like just because I could feel like he could fit well in the offense, but we'll see.
Yeah, I did really like Miles Rice while he was here, so I hope he does well at Maryland, just not against us.
Yes. Hope
We
he.
do have some people without homes already, but you can go ahead and finish your thoughts if you have
No, no,
some.
no, you're good. You're good. You're good. You good. You can finish
All
it up.
right. Yeah, so we have Mackenzie Mbako, Kanan Carlisle, and Bryson Tucker are still without a new transfer home. So what that means, I'm not quite sure. They could still be reaching out. They could just be waiting to announce it. We'll see in the coming months, weeks, however long it takes them to decide that they want to share it.
Yeah, it's just hopefully they do well. That's the hope. And Mbako's also doesn't have a home yet. Probably going to NC State, maybe.
Yeah, be
'Cause I think he's
interesting to
visiting.
see.
Is like Kentucky or
Um,
NC State. But
yeah, I
yeah,
remember seeing him post on his Instagram story with the Lexington tag. I was like, that that will hurt me in my soul a little bit,
yeah,
especially
we
considering we're
play
starting that series. I think because we're starting that this
this
upcoming
year
season, right? Yeah.
at
So
Kentucky,
at
and
Kentucky,
I don't think it'll happen. I don't. And I really
I
hope
don't either.
DeVries. I hope DeVries and Pope get it, work it out so that next year is in Assembly Hall um, and not in Indy
Cambridge. Yeah.
because even though Gamebridge is nice, this rivalry needs to be on
The home
campus.
and home. The home and home. Because
And
I don't know.
just because Calipari was too much of a coward to go back to Assembly Hall after 15 years.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the power of this rivalry comes from the fans being able to get there. And Bloomington is a lot closer than Indy, so we could get more Kentucky fans in. And I think that if we relight this rivalry, I think it'll make campus a lot more fun, because you don't see that rivalry as much as we used to. And I think it would be really fun to bring it back.
or you do my other idea, have it only played on the border.
Ooh.
So
So like a
Evansville,
neutral zone, but close.
like Evansville, Peoria, like that area. They're just
I
the
think that's really interesting. I hadn't considered that
because the Ford Center
neutral
is like
site, but yeah,
Ford Center is like a small college arena, and it's very split Indiana, Kentucky. Like
right.
just imagine the vibes of it. Like the Ford Center rarely sells out at all. So like also that's just like I want to see a full Ford Center. But
Yeah, it feels like it'd be a border war at that point.
oh,
It
obviously,
would be
yes.
lit up.
It would
I
be
would be intrigued to see that.
yeah, I've got a like funny like kind of funny story from whenever I was younger with March Madness. It was 2010 and I was in a bracket pool with my dad's work buddies. I won the bracket pool. A 7-year-old beat these grown men because I predicted West Virginia to beat Kentucky in the Elite Eight.
Wow, that's
And
hey,
all those car salesmen are big Kentucky fans. They had Kentucky winning it all. And
yeah. Sometimes you just gotta prey on Kentucky's downfall.
in my 7-year-old dumb logic, I had, well, West Virginia has all seniors. All seniors beat all freshmen every time, not knowing the rules of
Every
college
time.
every time, even though I didn't realize John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins was on that team.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a big one.
I think I've talked about that game. Or if I haven't, I should. I think I've been wanting to do that on this podcast.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I mean, Yeah, the way brackets work, it's always the people who know the least about it always do the best because they
Yes.
don't think that hard.
That's why I don't do sports gambling.
I I love running it with this team has the better color combo, even though I know logistically who should probably win because my color bracket always does better and I cannot figure out why.
Because it's completely random and there's no
Oh, for sure.
there's no logic behind it. And that's what basketball that's what sports are. There's no logic. If there was logic in it, the Cowboys would have won a championship by now.
Yeah, a touchdown in Dallas must have been the visiting
Yeah.
team.
Anyways, back to our stuff. What do you think with all of the transfer stuff, with the new possible new transfers? What's your prediction?
Ooh,
This
for a
is
lineup, I think I think we'll start with the bench. I think we'll have Sisley coming off the bench, Connor Enright off the bench, Nick Lewis and Connor Hickman on the bench as well. I think starting at center, we'll have Eddie Lampkin, power forward Reed Bailey, shooting forward Tucker DeVries, shooting guard Johandri Ortiz, and point guard Tayton Connerway. I mean, very fringe. I'm not 100% sure, but just as a really early prediction, I think this
yeah.
could be likely.
Yeah, I think it is a very unknown. I think let me see what my prediction was like not even a couple of weeks ago. I put it out on Twitter. I put out like my little lineup prediction. Um uh one second. This takes okay. Way too early lineup predictions. Miles Rice, Tucker DeVries, Trayson Eaglestaff, Harden Zerno, and Hansberry. Or Monty Hansberry.
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't get much different than that.
Yeah. I got DeVries right though.
Hey, yeah. I mean, I'd be
I
surprised if
wanted
Tucker doesn't start.
I wanted Trayson Eaglestaff just because of the name alone.
Oh, that's a cool name. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah, I think he's
put
also
that name in the
like
name
he's
Olympics.
he's like Native American too.
Oh yeah,
But anyways,
I don't know him that well, but
he had like
there's a
52
lot of good
like
options out
he had
there.
like 52 in the their conference tournament.
Wow, that's definitely something.
Yeah. All right. Now on to women's basketball. And this is definitely a you're not gonna see a lot of production. Just looking at the production on lot of the new people, I am concerned. I have a lot of concerns. I trust in Terry, but I just don't see a lot of big production. So let's start out with the players that have transferred because I have not I have not seen much with women's basketball who we are looking for. And that's just part of the problem is women's basketball isn't as highly viewed, like highly the microscope isn't on them as much as men's basketball is right now.
Right.
If it was, we probably have a bunch more stuff to look at.
Oh, for sure.
So I don't and like I try to look on three for like small forwards and power forwards, with like kind of what we need right now. And there's just nobody I think we can really like we've have interest in. Granted, Terry Morin probably has a lot of people she's interested in probably talked to, and maybe they've had visits yet, have visits already. I don't know. So let's start with the transfers. Starting out, Phoenix Stotine. That is how you pronounce that name. She is, I believe she is from the Netherlands. Uh, I didn't put it on here, but I believe she is from the. She is Dutch. Uh, yeah, she's from the Netherlands. She's from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Transferred from Arkansas. She only played 21 games last season. Averaged 7 points, 1.5 rebounds, 2.2 assists on 34, 20, 28, and 64 splits. That is just the shooting splits for all three. Well, the first two is what I'm really concerned about, but she's also going to be a sophomore. She has a lot
Right.
of time to
Still
cook,
pretty young.
and she'll probably be in that starting point guard role that Chloe was in. Not a lot of not a big sample size yet. We'll maybe know more. Chloe Spreen, transferred from Alabama, another freshman, was the 2024 Indiana Miss Basketball. Love to see it. 1.2 points, 0.5 rebounds, zero point 0.5 assists in 20 games played, 27, 18, and 58 shooting splits. Again, this is probably due to um lack of um
Volume and such.
yeah, lack of volume, lack of sample size. But I was looking her stats up from high school, and I'm not gonna say I wasn't like impressed. It's just I have concerns. Um, I'm not trying to diss her. I think she can be a good player. I think she's probably going to be a backup. Her senior year,
Yeah, I
27 and 3 assists. Like she did good. I'm not going to
all right.
diss that. But 28% from three, 74% from the free throw line, and 42% from the field.
Yeah, I think she has the potential to be pretty good, or at least, you know, like Anthony Leal when he didn't come off the bench much. A little bit of a cult presence. She's from Bedford, played at
Yeah,
Bedford North
yeah,
Lawrence. She's a hometown kid, essentially. She's from about a half hour away from campus. I think that, at the very least, she'll be good off the bench and she'll be good for morale. We
yeah,
love a hometown kid lighting it up.
yeah. I think she will be in probably in an Anthony Leal role. But it'll be very fun to see what she can do. Like it's probably going to be a bench position, but and
She
now
might cook in
the
the off season too.
yeah, she might get in the gym and really hit it hard. But now
Right.
the big name that just committed yesterday, and I'm trying to find the pronunciation. There it is, found it. So Zania Soku Naguman. I believe it's how you pronounce it. Indiana HQ put like a pronunciation guide there. 2024 McDonald's All-American and a five-star recruit, transfer from UCLA. Another redshirt freshman. Well, not redshirt, but freshman. Only played 16 games, 1.5 points, 1.5 rebounds, point 0.1 assist, 40, 40, 0, and 67 shooting splits. The 67, I'm kind of more happy with, but she didn't get much volume because she was a backup. But she's also 6'4". She's probably going to play the center position in that Mackenzie Holmes, Chloe Striplin, Lily Meister role. And I think she's going to start. You've got someone who is really good in high school. I had her high school stats here. Her senior year, she averaged 20 points, 12 rebound. Yeah, 20, well, 12, not 20, 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist. 56% from the field, 29% from three, and 76% from the free throw line. So I think she's going to be in a lot in a Caroline Strickland role. That's probably what we're going to see.
Right.
Um, that's probably the big fish in this transfer pool.
Oh, for
But
sure, currently.
yeah, but I think the best. get this offseason is the recruits. Maya McAlusky, Indiana Miss Basketball. So back-to-back Miss Basketballs are committed to Indiana this year. Four-star recruit. In her senior year, she averaged 22, 6.8 rebounds, and 1.3 assists on 40, 48, 40, and 80 splits. Like the three-point shooting.
Oh, I love it.
And she's probably going to be starting this year, probably going to be replacing Yarden, and we'll get into.
Yeah, taking that.
And then Navia Caffey, Miss Show Me Basketball, which is the best player, which is the Indiana Miss Basketball of St. Missouri, because Missouri is the Show Me state. In her, I had to do some digging for this one because MaxPress didn't have it, and they only posted like game logs for Navia. So I had to copy all it down, paste it onto Google Sheets, and just put average equals da 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 to get the averages. But 17 points, 3.4 rebounds, 2.5 assists on 52, 40, and 73 shooting splits. Now I think she can play the backup. I think it's going to be Caffey or Stotine playing for the starting point guard role because we all know who's going to be starting shooting guard. And this is
Yeah.
and this is a Terry Moore in offense. She is not going small. I don't think both Caffey or Stotine are going to start. One is going to start over the other. It just is what it is. I like the recruits a lot, and I'm really excited for them.
Yeah,
But players in portal. Oh, this is gonna get so
Yeah, this list
from
hurts a bit.
from I think it was Stotine. It was Stotine or Chloe Spreen. They mentioned that the players that left Indiana did not leave on bad terms. It was just looking for better opportunities, which is something to note. It's and this is my one rant on this, and I may rant on it again if it happens again, but I'm gonna rant on this right now. The fact Indiana has men's basketball has 10 to 12 million dollars, women's basketball should at least have 6 million. If we have 6 million dollars, that is better than most programs in women's basketball probably.
Right, and I definitely think we do have the fundraising to provide that 6 million to
Yes.
use. I think that we have been a consistent women's program. I think that not to say that they need to earn it, but I think that if that was the case, they have more than done that. I think
Yes.
that Terry knows how to build a basketball team. We have been consistently producing and showing up in these NCAA tournaments. We have been one of the few teams in back-to-back years to genuinely inconvenience and struggle the South Carolina Gamecocks, who have been a notoriously well put together team. So to see that we are doing that with much less fundraising and like ability to like move that money around and give players incentive to kind of play for our program, I think that that is something that we should really look at because I think that that could be helpful in pulling in some of these bigger recruits, being able to put more offensive production on the court.
Yeah. And let's just get the elephant in the room out of the way. Yardinger Zone transferred to Maryland.
Yeah.
And to me, this is Maryland putting as much money as they can and Yarden looking to get in the WNBA. I think this is what this is. Because I don't know with Yarden. I don't think and I don't want to speculate. I don't want to like assume, but her coming out of Maryland is going to look a lot better to colleges than Indiana. And yet we produced WNBA talent with Grace Berger and Mackenzie Holmes, but Grace Berger got waived from the Fever, even though she probably shouldn't have.
Yeah,
And Mackenzie Holmes has just got back to Seattle, and I don't know if she's going to be able to stay. I would love for her to stay. I think she has the talent to do that, but they're very deep at her position in Seattle, and
yeah, I mean,
they could trade away um their best players for more draft capital and trust in the youngsters. They could just tank. I hope they do.
yeah, I mean, I think that Mackenzie does have the chance of like working her way into at least solid bench minutes. I think that she is good. I think that she is an outstanding pick. I think it's just going to take time. I mean, you see the other draft pick that Seattle got. I think it was definitely last year with Nika Mule. Nika Mule, excellent player, good on defense. Sometimes the offense isn't there, and they are just so deep in most of their positions over in Seattle that it takes a lot of effort and work to get into their consistent rotation. And that is just unfortunate. But I think if anybody can do it, it is Mackenzie Holmes.
It's just, and
And with,
it's I think it's a WNBA issue too because they
oh, for
have
sure,
12 teams
roster
with 12
spots.
roster spots. They need to expand it to 15, first of all. Secondly, um, they're definitely expanding teams, so players like a Mackenzie Holmes, like a Yarden, like Tahina Pow Pow, trying to think here. Other names like oh my gosh. Virginia center that was also a draft and stash like Holmes last year.
Oh, oh, I'm blanking on the name.
Like
Um,
you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I know. I'm just like the name off the top of my tongue.
Yeah.
I
Like
can't
those
remember.
players that were like it was going to be hard for them to play with Toronto getting a team, Golden State getting a team. Two more teams probably coming.
Right. I mean, and I think that there is plenty of interest in expanding the league. It's just when and where the commissioner decides to go. I know that there is interest in bringing the Detroit Shock back. There is interest in moving into, I think it's Cleveland.
Yeah,
Um,
bringing back the I think it's the Charge. No, the Charge is the G League team. As they had a team.
yeah, they had a team. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to bring back the Charlotte Sting, the San Antonio Stars. I'm sure that there could be some interest down there. But I mean, they
Uh,
do already have Dallas.
yeah. They could bring because they've the Nashville uh submitted
Oh
a
yeah, the
off
Nashville is
like it's like the Tennessee Summit.
yeah, after Pat Summit. I
Yeah.
think that that has a really good chance of going through. But I mean, big point being, there is so much interest and there are so many good women's basketball players that I don't think it's much of an issue at all to that there would be the demand for the teams. Because I think if there are the teams, people will show up. You see that in, not to go off on a little bit of a side tangent, but the PWHL, the hockey league, they started playing last year. They didn't release team names or anything, and it was 6 teams, and they were consistently selling out, having tons of show up. They live stream all of their games to YouTube. They still do, and they are getting consistent show up and interaction. I think basically, the whole saying, if you build it, they will come. And I think that that would follow through for opening up the WNBA and giving all of these good recruits a chance.
Yeah. And looking at going back to the main topic here, the rest of the players in the portal, Sharon's Cully Jenks transfers to Murray State. I haven't seen anything with Lily Meister, Henna Sandvik, Alexis Bargesser, and Juliana Lamandola.
I have not either.
I could see some of them possibly coming back, maybe. They could
I
just
would hope
be.
so. I think that we have some great people in the portal that I think could still fit into
Hmm.
whatever scheme that Terry Morin is trying to bring back.
Yeah. And right now, uh, we got, I think, 10 or 11 Yeah, we have 10 players right now on the roster currently that I think could get minutes. So here's my line of prediction. Point guard, Phoenix Stowtime. Returning at shooting guard, Shea Shesky. Starting small forward is Maya McAlusky in that role of Yarden. Power forward, I think this is the big shock here. I've got redshirt freshman Sidney Fenn at the power forward spot. I think they could either do Fenn at the four or move McAlusky down to the four because she's also like 6'3", 6'4", and put Lene Beaumont at the three. Redshirt sophomore Lene Beaumont at the three. They could do either or. And then Zania Soko Nagumin at the center position. I could also see a Faith Wiseman. They'll have to face each other. They'll have to beat each other for that. But then on the bench, Chloe Spreen, Valentina Kadalkova, Navia Caffey, Lene Beaumont, and Faith Wiseman is my prediction. I think I I hope fans don't turn on Terry this quickly.
I would hope they wouldn't. I mean, she's consistently proven that she knows what she's doing, and even if you are a little bit concerned at first, we have lost a lot of our old guys, and it makes sense for Terry Morin to kind of try something new with all of the younger players that we have coming in because that same mainstay, and you could see it last year, losing Mac to graduation, we took a while to kind of find a new rhythm running a similar scheme just because we didn't have that consistent, strong force.
Yeah, we
And
were
I think that this is Terry. Go ahead.
and and this is no offense to Terry getting Caroline Striplin. I think if we don't get Caroline Striplin, I think Lily Meister's confidence is a lot better because I think she played the beginning part of the season with her constantly looking behind her back because she knew Caroline was probably going to start soon if she struggled. I think she got paranoid, and I hope the best for Lily. I think she is a fantastic player. I think if she can get a starting spot somewhere at a mid-major, I think she can thrive.
Yeah,
Because we saw that in
rebuilding
the
that
South
confidence.
in the I think it was the Utah game. We saw that in the Utah game.
Oh, right. Absolute standout game for her. When she has the confidence to just go in there and play the game she knows how to, I mean, you can see it. It's night and day.
Yeah. And then when she got benched, she just lost all that confidence.
Yeah.
And speaking of that Indiana Utah game, did you see the thing where someone nearly had a perfect bracket?
Yeah, every game but ours.
Right,
I
but
mean,
ours. This is why
and
you
never
don't
doubt the Hoosiers.
death Texas Terry Moore winning 20 games in a season. But who knows?
Yep.
Terry Moore could just find a way to get 20 wins in a season. Who knows? Because this is Terry
She'll find
Moore.
it somewhere.
If she does with how young this team is, because like Shay's a senior and we don't have a junior on this roster because Lene is a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah. If we can build something this year, we'll be able to return 99% of it in the next year and we can make a deep run if everything works out well.
Yeah, like I have a lot of faith in Maya. I have a lot of faith with just we could just have this is going to be a very I just want low expectations with this team. I think max I think it's going to be 21 wins
Yeah, I think
if we do
start low,
really
you can
good.
be presently pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, start low, which is what this Indiana fan base does not know how to do. Anyways,
Yeah.
um, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share on all platforms. And I'm gonna ask you, what is the big transfer that either of these programs can make that will change this season for the better?